Well, I am back on the track. I had a 45-hour visit back in Perth, and we were able to sort out what was happening at home from the family point of view, and I've got the imprimatur to come back and finish off the Bibbulmun. The issue today, as I'm walking out of Walpole, is that Jude is well in front of me, so I'm going to have to double hut today. I'll walk through Franklin and get to Giants, by which time she will have left Giants and got to Rame Head. And she'll go from Rame Head to Peaceful Bay tomorrow, and I'll double hut again from Giants, go through Rame Head, and then tomorrow night we'll link up again at Peaceful Bay. I must say that having put the pack on this morning, legs actually feel a little bit stiff and sore, especially around the knees, but I'm sure I'll get a little bit conditioned again in a moment. Got some fairly heavy climbing today. I think there's elevation climb of just under 1,000 metres throughout the day, so hopefully the legs will feel a little bit better. But looking forward to walking through some of the big tingles, and with an overcast day today and not a high temperature forecast, it should be quite pleasant for walking. But I have to say, I am extremely glad that I am back on the track and have the opportunity to finish my end-to-end. Turning away from the inlet now, and not too far away from starting about a 210 metre climb, which is going to take me from sea level to the highest point of the day. And all of a sudden now, we're back in some magnificent forest. I feel more at home. Well, that was pretty plain sailing. We're over the top of the biggest climb going to Franklin, topped out at about 215 metres coming up from sea level, making pretty good time. Done about 8.5 kilometres, whoa, nearly fell over, 8.5 kilometres in just over an hour and 50 minutes. So on track to get to Franklin, probably somewhere around 10:15, thereabouts. I have something to eat there, replenish the water, and then head on to Giants. But after a start to the day where the legs felt a little bit heavy, even after that climb, they're starting to feel a little bit like they did before I had to vacate very shortly after I reached Walpole. So things feeling pretty good after nearly 2 hours back on the track. Now these are what you call real trees. A couple of tingles here that are absolutely enormous. And the base of them is quite staggering. And that one there, and of course there's the more well-known one that is really just a buttress that is still standing. But the enormity of this is incredible. You could pretty much fit a car inside that. When I come around and look at the front view, it is absolutely incredible that this is actually just one tree. It is enormous, the size of it. It's great that they put these boardwalks here, but when I come round down the boardwalk and swing around and have a look at it, it is incredible. The size of that is absolutely amazing. You could park, well, a Jeep, probably 2 Jeeps inside that. It's absolutely incredible, the size of it. It's hard to imagine that any tree could have a girth that big. About 1100 metres now out of the Franklin campsite. Made pretty good time today. So at the moment I've done 17 k's in 3 hours and 40 minutes. I'm going to make the campsite pretty much spot on 10 AM. Have a quick bite to eat, bit of morning tea, and then head off towards Giants. See what time I can make it to there. But feeling pretty good this morning to bypass this gate just here, vehicle gate, which prevents people from actually using the access road unless they're Detour, come up to the campsite. It's supposed to be a very pretty campsite. It's located on the Franklin River, which is one of the biggest water courses, one of the main water courses down around the southwest of Western Australia. So I work my way past a bit of mud, and it is, by all accounts, very pretty. I'm about to find out soon, even though I'm going to be scooting through it after some morning tea. A different looking hut, this one, up on stilts. May well be in case the river below floods, I'm not too sure, but I haven't seen one like this before. And here it is, Franklin campsite on the Franklin River. Yes, very different up on stilts, but a quite nice feel about it. I'm going to quickly have something to eat, have a look at the river, and then head off. Very quick pit stop at Franklin. Muesli bar, some peanut butter and crackers, replenish the water bottles, and on our way to Giants. About 15 k's thereabouts. Bit of climbing again, including coming out of the valley floor here at the moment where the river is. But hopefully get to Giants 2:30ish, which would be a good day's walking. Once again, it was overcast and dampish in this part of the world yesterday, but 10:30 now, just a little bit after, and we're starting to get some real mottled light on this single track. The sun is coming through intermittently, but it will be enough after some consecutive overcast days to get the snakes out potentially on the track, warming themselves up. So some added vigilance now on the way to Giants, especially when you do get the mottled light. It's sometimes hard to pick up shapes properly. Hopefully I will, and I won't get too close to any of the little critters. Once again for a few kilometres here, sharing the Bibbulmun Track as well. Nice and smooth here for a bike. Very firm and nice under foot, which probably means it's the same under tyres. Quite an odd feeling today. It's the first time in my life I've ever actually hiked on my own. Mind you, as I've mentioned a few times, I only started 15 months ago, but every hike I've done has been with Jude, whether it be a couple of overnight practice walks up in the Darling Range, whether it was the Cape to Cape, parts of the Wilman around Wellington Dam near Collie. It's always been with her. But today, the first time I've actually been out with a pack on the back, wandering through the bush on my own. Obviously, a lot of the times I'm walking either side of Jude, normally in front of her, and I wait for her to catch up, but it's a little bit different today. Different experience. Enjoying it, but it's also nice to have her company, which I will again, hopefully, in the near future. Yet another bridge on the Bibbulmun. It always astounds me how they bring in all the materials to make these. Because not always is there an access or service road, forest track in the immediate vicinity. But thankfully they do, prevent you from getting wet feet all the time. Well, that's where I've come from today. 30 k's back. This area down here, car park number 2, is the overflow car park for the treetop walk. It's a terrific tourist attraction here in the southwest of WA. You can walk above the canopy of the massive Jude and carry trees down here. It's quite something. It's only when you're up that high that you realise actually how tall these trees are when you get up to level with their canopy or just above. No time for doing that today. I have been lucky enough to do it in the past. We're continuing on because we need to get to Giant's Camp, which isn't that far away. There's a coffee van there, which I don't really fancy, but he said there are cool drinks down here where you get your tickets at the shop to go into the treetop walk, so I'm going to get a cool drink, take just a couple-minute detour. Well, that was a very quick pit stop. Treated myself to a vanilla and chocolate ice cream, cold mango juice, and now about 1.3 k's away from the next hut at Giant's. A little bit of a climb to get there in a moment, but all good. Here we are at Giant's, obviously named because of the massive trees, the tingles and carry around this particular area. I've already taken the bag off. I've made a decision though that rather than stay here tonight and then catch up with Jude at Peaceful Bay, I'm actually going to try and do it tonight. So that's where I'm heading, down that way, after I just readjust the pack because I fell on my face a moment ago, caught my foot in a root, and also signed the book over there, and then I'm off again, another 17 k's to do. So already 30 kilometres today. This is easily going to be my longest day of hiking with a backpack. In fact, it already is. It's going to be fairly close to 50. It's about 33 I've done so far. It's about 17 or 18 to Rame Head. Almost missed the turn off here. The track's going up this way to my right. But yes, given that from tomorrow Rame Head to Peaceful Bay is only 11 k's, I figure if I can put the additional work in today and a short walk tomorrow, even though some of it's on soft sand on the beach, get in early, we've got a chalet, and I'll be able to relax. It'll be like a or half rest day. So that's the plan. Still some climbing to do to get out of Giants, and then, as I said, about 17 k's thereabouts to hopefully catch up with Jude at Rame Head. She'll probably get a surprise. In recent times we've moved away from the richer, darker soil and are moving back towards coastal soil, more sand, lower shrubs, trees, some of the flowers that we're more used to seeing in drier sand, dry soil than what we used to seeing in some of the other areas with the big trees. So things changing at the moment. We're heading back in the general direction of the coast. We've done just over 40 kilometres now and starting to get a little bit concerned. I don't have the Bibbulmun handbooks with me, or the maps. Jude's got them, and well, I know we're heading ever closer to the coast and the sand is getting a little bit softer underfoot. And I note on the elevation profile on my Fenix watch that there is a fair bit of very late climbing, and having done 40 k's, far and away the most I've ever done in one go with a pack on my back, I'm a little bit fearful that those last few k's may actually be pretty close to the coast, which is not going to thrill me at all, I'm afraid, because my legs are already starting to get a little bit low on power, and I'm not too sure how it'll go if it's a soft sand climbing. Fingers crossed it isn't, but in an hour or two we're going to find out. Inside the last 4 metres to camp, 4 kilometres I should say. I wish it was 4 metres. I'm going to get in probably about 25 minutes before sunset. There is a fair twilight after that, and there's going to be a full moon tonight, although I doubt we'll be able to see it with the cloud cover. But wending our way ever closer to the ocean. And as I said, I just hope it's not too much of a sand dune finish, because my legs now are lacking a hell of a lot of energy. It's been a long day and one last big climb to come. My worst fears from earlier on today are about to be realised. I've done about 47 or 8 kilometres now. My legs, my calves in particular, are really struggling. They're pretty much down now at the ocean, and I know that there's a steep climb coming up because I've got it on my watch, and it looks like it's going to be in sand dunes. What a way to finish a very long day. Yes, indeed, on the sand. This is going to be very painful and arduous. Off the beach at least, but still in dunes, heading down the hill. And my watch tells me I've got 130 odd metres to climb upwards in this loose sand. So far I've got about 2.5 k's remaining for the day, and believe me, they cannot end quick enough. Well, thankfully the path has come a lot further inland than I thought it would, hence it's not just soft sand underfoot. Still got a fair way to go, both in distance, about 2 k's, and climbing still about 100 odd metres, but at least it's not the soft sand that I had on those dunes immediately coming off the beach. I feel like I should be coming off the bench, although if I did, I don't think it'd be very sprightly for the coach this late in the day. Just hit the last kilometre, and the good news, it's all downhill, and a lot of it is actually on this matting, which is for coastal erosion, so it does actually make it a lot easier on which to walk. Although, as I say that, it gives away again to sand, but there was a lot of it on the way up, a lot of it on the way down, obviously trying to protect the dunes. It does make for a little bit easier walking, especially when heading down on it. Hello, Judith. Hello, all.
Yeah, mate, how are you?
Jesus!
No, it's just me.
Sunday.
Well, safe to say, turning 60 in a few months' time, that will be the one and only time in my life that I will triple hut and walk 50 kilometres. It was 50.9 in the end, and just over 1,550 metres of climbing. The tough bit was at the end. I think psychologically, knowing I was heading to the beach, the climb actually wasn't that bad. As I mentioned, it came back inland a bit, so it wasn't just completely white beach, dune, soft sand. But Jude was happy to see me at least. Surprised, shocked is probably a better word. But it means now we can continue walking on our predetermined schedule, because we were supposed to be heading from here into Peaceful Bay tomorrow, so we've got the opportunity still to do that. But it was interesting. As I said early in the day, it's the first time in my life I've spent a whole day hiking on my own. Gives you more things to think about. But no, I'm glad I'm here. There's 3 other gentlemen who are heading south that skipped a hut. They started at Franklin and went through Giants and have arrived here tonight. So we've got some company. Jude's got a tent up for the mozzies, and I'm about to turn in. I've just had something to eat. Back's a little bit sore, but otherwise it was a pretty good and interesting day.